Okay. Okay. All right, so we have that answer. Are there any questions on that? Okay, well, let's do the next one. So the next one we have to get is C, right? And we're told we can't use B. Okay, well, we have the adjacent side. We want the hypotenuse. Adjacent, hypotenuse. Which trig function should we use? Is adjacent, hypotenuse, cosine. The cosine of that angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. So in other words, it's 40 over 37 degrees. Excuse me, what am I saying? 40 over C, and C is what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. So cosine of 37 degrees is adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So now we got to figure out what C is. That's the unknown. I know I didn't show the steps, but if you cross multiply both sides by C, you end up getting this. And then you can divide by cosine of 37 degrees, both sides that is, and you end up with this. Okay. Actually, I wonder if maybe I should show the steps. Let me do that. Let me show the steps. You know, I have the pen here, so bear with me. So if I take this and multiply both sides by C, right? Oh boy. This cancels, and we get this over here. Then I divide by cosine, oh boy, 37 degrees. Bear with me. I'm miswriting on a blackboard. Well, I'm sure you can see what I'm doing. But anyway, I mean, I hope you understand what I'm doing, I mean. But anyway, when you divide like this, these are going to cancel, and you're left with this here. Now, as before, of course, we have to figure out what cosine of 37 degrees is. You know, by the calculator, we get this. If you ever have trouble finding it out from getting a trig function value from a calculator, you know, don't be afraid to contact me. I can always, you know, share a screen with you and work with you. I'm more than happy to help. But here we get cosine of 37 degrees is this. Now I'm rounding to 4 decimal places. On a test or something, I'll tell you how many decimal places to round. So I'm using more than 4 decimal places. And therefore, we get C is 40 divided by this, which is this. So that is what we get. Okay, any questions on this one? Okay, well, let's do another one then, okay? I know these problems can be kind of tricky, so. Okay, so here we have another triangle. I'm telling you this angle here is 63 degrees. And I'm telling you now that the opposite side is 8. Before we knew the adjacent side. Now we know the opposite side instead. That's 8. So we have to figure out what the adjacent side, A, is, and the hypotenuse, C, is. So first we're going to figure out A. Then, without using A, we'll get C. So how do we do that? Well, okay. So again, we have the opposite. We want the adjacent. We have to figure out what trig function to use. Opposite and adjacent. It's just like the other one, the previous question, right? Opposite and adjacent, that's tangent. So we're going to use tangent of theta. That is, we're going to use the tangent trig function. Here, right, we have tangent of 63 degrees is opposite divided by adjacent. That's over here. See if I can draw it in again. And then from here, we want to solve for A, right? So what do? We're going to multiply both sides by A, right? And why does that help? Well, these A's are going to cancel, and we get tangent of 63 degrees times A is 8. That's what we get here. Okay, but we want A, so we have to get the tangent out of there, so we divide. I want to show the work. Tangent. Hold on. There we go. Bear with me. 3 degrees. Oh boy. Tangent. Bear with me. I hope this is making sense. I'm trying to show all the calculations. Bear with me. So now these are going to cancel. And we get A is 8 over tangent of 63 degrees. Okay? So that's what we get here. Okay. So from here, we know what we have A. Of course, we have to get tangent of 63 degrees. That's again our calculator. And doing A divided by that, we get this. All right, that's good. Okay, any questions on this one? Remember, if you have a question, I can't see the chat. So, use the hand raise feature. Let's see some. Okay. So now again, we have to, let me do this. Although well, it's in the notes anyway, you can see it already, but we want to figure out what C is, right? So the trig function is, well, we have 8, which is the opposite side. C is the hypotenuse, right? The side opposite the 90-degree angle. That's always the hypotenuse. So we have opposite hypotenuse. What trig function do we use? Opposite hypotenuse sine. So we have sine of 63 degrees is 8 over C. And it's really just, as you can see, it's the same steps as before. I want to write it out anyway for fun. From here, I should have done this in Microsoft Whiteboard, but I guess that's okay if I'm doing this. Multiply both sides by C, right? You have those. So we get this. I mean, the C now is I moved the C over on the left side here. That's okay, though, because, multiplication is commutative. You can multiply in any order you want. Okay, let me be consistent. What I had was right, but I feel better doing it this way because I figured if I do it this way, there might be less confusion. These cancel. I'm multiplying both sides by C. Then I divide by sine of 63 degrees. Same thing over here. Sine. Oh man. 63 degrees. There we go. And that's good because now these are gonna cancel. Oh my gosh, cancel. And then we get C is 8 over sine of 63 degrees. B. That's what we get here. And again, to get sine of 63 degrees, that's where a calculator comes into play. So that's what I did over here. And so we get C is 8 divided by this, which 8 over sine of 63 degrees turns out to be about this. In case you can't see it, although I hope you can, this is a 6. So came out a little bit funny, but hopefully you can still see it. All right, that's good. Okay, let me just pause the recording.